It's baffling how poorly Indiana Jones 5 is performing at the box office. They've lowered expectations, re-lowered the expectations, and then re-lowered the expectations only to underperform those already moved goalposts. It's so sad. He's a beloved character and something that was an easy box office draw not even that long ago. Like, Crystal Skull made money back in the late 2000s, okay? Like, it's not like this is a foregone conclusion. It's just, everybody knows what Hollywood's all about. Everybody knows what LucasFilm is all about, you know? It's just a misery simulator. You just add that Disney multiplier on top. People look at the promotional material, they see the trailers, and they already know exactly what time it is. It's not going to be Indiana Jones. It's going to be Indiana Jane. And hell, it's not even going to be Harrison Ford. It's just going to be whatever's left of Harrison Ford. So yes, the appropriate title of Indiana Jake and the box office of Doom definitely applies in this situation. Now that we got some final numbers for the weekend, let's have a laugh until we can take a look at next week's huge, humongous drop-off, because I think what comes out this weekend, it's what, Oppenheimer, which, okay, the 3-hour Nolan epic, probably not going to light up the box office, whatever, and then Barbie. Are people looking forward to that? I guess. I don't know. But is it still going to overshadow Indiana Jones? Oh, hell yeah. Oh, hell yeah, son. On the bright side of Independence Day, bomb. Indiana Jones and the Dial of Destiny is the first 5 days at the box office of $82 million. Aren't as bad as Paramount's Terminator Genisys. How fantastic. I know it's Genisys, but at the same time, it's not a Terminator film. Funny, I laid out my familiarity with the Indiana Jones franchise. I stopped at the trilogy and didn't watch Crystal Skull at all. Watched the first 6 Star Wars films, thought that they were okay, moved on accordingly. And then with Terminator, yeah, the most recent one that I caught was Salvation. And it's funny. It's funny, like the Terminator, the first Terminator, fantastic, amazing movie. The second one, it's kind of like, it's legendary for a reason. It is, in fact, all that good. And this isn't like nostalgia goggles or anything like that. I watched them for the first time when I was in like my mid-20s, so I seen them in all their glory in the 2010s. I can't pinpoint exactly what year it was, 2012, 2013, something like that. And yeah, no, they're as good as advertised. And then Terminator 3 and Terminator 4, they're just, classic bad movies, like 4 or 5 out of 10. Terminator 3 is probably a little bit better than Terminator 4, just for the sheer fact that it has Arnie half-ass giving a damn. And yeah, Terminator Salvation does have Christian Bale, but then it was also during that weird time where they were trying to make Sam Witwer a thing. Or Sam Worthington. Who the fuck is Sam Witwer? Really doesn't much matter. Here I am forgetting actors, kind of like Indiana Jake out here. But no, people were pretty much done with the Terminator series when they tried to reboot it with Genisys after Arnold was out of the governor's mansion in California, and they went, ooh, the Terminator's supposed to be imposing, not just like, oh, grandpa, sit down for a second. And then it just even got even more pathetic. Hey, we're going to bring back Linda Hamilton, who's been not doing anything and just smoking several packs of Marlboros a day. And, oh, doesn't she look imposing? And, oh, she hates being a mom. Ugh, that's why nobody went to that misery simulator either. So this is the straw that broke the camel's back. Everybody's just done with these depressing pollution of cherished IPs. They're done with the subversive nature that comes out of the Hollywood writer's room in today's day and age, where they just see something that's up there. They know they're just going to be preached to instead of entertained, and they're good. They're good. We're just going to go to the thing that promises to at least be from a visionary movie maker in the form of Christopher Nolan, even though you could kind of debate the quality of his films. In the second half of his career, remember the last time that I went to the theaters? I don't know if you guys are aware, but I've told this story before. The last thing that I seen in theaters was The Dark Knight Rises, and that's the first time that I came out of a theater just going, wow, that didn't make a hell of a lot of sense, and oh, that really was a poor clone of Dark Knight. I don't know how I feel about that. Case in point, haven't been back to the theater since. And then Barbie, well, outside of Kate McKinnon's one goofy-ass interview where it's like, it just melds both genders together, or, the spectrum of genders, and just shows you how much you're missing if you don't engage with your feminine side if you're a guy, and if you don't engage with your masculinity if you're a woman. Shut up, Kate. Wouldn't you think that anybody that was attached to Ghostbusters 2016, if they're in your film, you would just bar them from doing any media appearances in order to just try to shield your project from any sort of failure? Oh well, like I said, Hollywood's very, very slow to adapt and learn the correct lessons from failure. The sequel's launch, just prior to July 4th, 2015, that's Genisys, left a lot of methane in the air with $42.4 million on its Wednesday to Sunday total. The attempted Arnold Schwarzenegger comeback movie ended its domestic run with $89.7 million. I don't think any of that is adjusted for inflation, so that's what we're dealing with here. Dial-up Derpstiny will cross that mark before its first week is up. Well, you hope so, because that's with the Monday numbers included. But I don't know. It's like Tuesday. Obviously, today's Tuesday. Happy Independence Day to everybody that's out there. But wouldn't you think, knowing that today's going to be the holiday and nobody would have to work, federal holiday and all, wouldn't the Monday going into Tuesday be the most lucrative from a financial stance, as opposed to the Tuesday when everybody's got to go back to work on Wednesday? And given that Monday drop, I think it was not all that fantastic. Comparing July 4th tentpole hits and bombs can be tricky since the holiday skips around. Yes, of course, because it's on a fixed date. In case you didn't know, July 4th isn't set up for a Monday or a Friday every year. Sometimes studios launch on a Wednesday and sometimes on Friday. Yeah, we know. The last time July 4th fell on a Tuesday was 2017 and 2006. 2017 Friday, Tuesday fame, Illumination's Despicable Me 3 led with $99 million. 2017 raked in Despicable Me 3. Now, I know Despicable Me and those Minions movies make a hell of a lot of money, but 2017 dollars, $99 million. Now, like I said, they make a lot of money, but it ain't no Indiana Jones. And it just about beat them by $20 million. Amen. Followed by Sony's Baby Driver, with 29 points. So just about, just a hair under $30 million. But here's a strong comparison, to films that have maybe a little bit more in common. Follow me on this one. For you see, July 4th is a prime launch pad for studios to take their best shot with a questionable franchise tentpole and milk as much money as possible. That's great editorialization, I suppose. If it doesn't look like you're going to post some sort of record over 3 days, go for a 4 or 5, 6 or 7 day stretch that Independence Day offers. Warner took advantage of that opportunity with Superman Return. Remember that was that weird film that came out? I think everybody remembers the trailer, at least that one spot where Brandon Routh was playing Superman at the time, and then there was the gun that fired, and then it just showed up close the bullet hitting his eye and collapsing inward. Everybody remembers that. And then also the meme that came out of it of, Kevin Spacey pre-kid diddling, or maybe during his prime, as Lex Luthor. He's just leaning into that film's Lois Lane and just going, wrong! I think that's about the only thing that anybody takes away from that. I remember it just being overly long, overly boring, and then there was a Marlon Brando voiceover. Still seems like more is going to be taken away from that disaster than anything from Indiana Jones 5, outside of, there was a fifth one, 30 plus years after the trilogy ended. That wasn't smart, was it? Warner took advantage, with the opportunity with Superman Returns, minting a $108 million 7-day opening. It's a figure, Dial of Destiny. Won't even come close. Nope. At $82 million Friday to Tuesday, Dial of Derpstiny is slightly ahead of Superman Returns' 5-day total of $76 million. Not adjusted for inflation. That's huge, because when did that motherfucker come out? 2006 or some shit like that? Yeah, 2006. So that came out the 2006 July 4th. Long weekend. However, Superman Returns took a different path than Indiana Jones and the Dial of Destiny, and opted for a Wednesday launch with Tuesday previews. On June 28th, 2006, the picture got 7-day gross across the century mark. Oh, okay, cool, whatever. Superman Return ended its run with $200 million stateside. Is Indiana Jones going to do that? Especially with, that big Mission Impossible film that's coming out in 2 weeks' time. Yeah, I don't really think so, man. They'll be lucky. They'll be lucky to turn $20 million, because we've seen the other drops when it comes to just other films that come out and have terrible word of mouth, which this one definitely does, and then they just fall off a cliff. 50, 60, 70, if in the case of The Flash, 77% drop off week over week. This is going to be, quite possibly, maybe not in raw numbers, but the biggest box office bomb, or the one where it's got to be a moment in time where Hollywood looks around and goes, It's about time to make some revisions around here. No more feminist jargon, right? Because, yeah, here we have the updated numbers for the Monday box office, $11.8 million. Then to compare it to Kingdom of the Crystal Skull in 2008, posted an impressive 3-day debut of $100 million in North America in 2008. Cool. Not adjusted for inflation. Yeah, see, exactly. Monday was a de facto holiday for many Americans heading into the July 4th. By the end of Tuesday, Indy 5 should have $82.5 million banked domestically from Thursday all the way until Tuesday. That's the best that you can do. Fantastic. Elsewhere at the domestic box office, Sony sensation Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse found itself in a close race for number 2 with Elemental. That sucks. Spooderman has been out for over a month at this point in time, and it's battling with Flopamental, which is in its second week. Yeesh. Sony's R-rated raunchy comedy, No Hard Feelings, starring the first ever female action star, Jennifer Lawrence, came in 4th with $1.9 million. What a disaster she is. Followed by Transformers Rise of the Beast. Oof, that just goes to show you that you can only milk a formula for so long until it's just precipitous fall off. Sucks to suck, I guess, but if that's what you're doing, if that's what you think, trying old, pathetic formulas in order to just try to turn a buck instead of making any sort of new and daring interpretations. Maybe thinking, okay, Indiana Jones, you tried to do the handoff at the end of Crystal Skull. Right? You had Indiana Jones's son, who at the beginning of this film, spoiler, ends up getting killed off screen. Unbelievable. In one of the most baffling ways possible. Gonna go enlist in the Vietnam War in spite of his father, only to get killed out there. It's just a cataclysmic failure, okay? But if you want to run this back, do something exciting with it, well, what did Lucasfilm decide to do? Try to hand the torch off to somebody who's even more unlikable than Kamala Harris in order to say that, hey, this is going to be the new Indiana Jones, and I could definitely see our company taking this in that direction, says Kathleen Kennedy, very smart woman that she is. And if there is to be a 6th, a spin-off Indiana Jane sequel, whatever the fuck they're going to do with it, because they're dumb enough to do that, and it's just, will they actually? Well, it just shows you that they aren't really learning anything, and at least in the short term, and as everybody has predicted before, if there are any lessons to learn from the flop that is Indiana Jones 5, Disney, Lucasfilm, they're going to be the last ones to figure this stuff out because, okay, check out this specific example. Indiana Jones actress asked for script changes over problematic scene. Okay, it's a pretty basic formula when it comes to Indiana Jones films. Indiana Jones is an excavator. He's an archaeologist. He goes and finds mythical items, finds them, says that they belong in a museum. Dun, 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 dun. Okay, on to the next adventure. And who's he always squaring off against? Every single time, damn goddamn Nazis. Now, if you get cast for the film, and you just happen to be black, and your role requires you to be squaring off against somebody who's a part of the German party in power from the 1930s and 1940s, do you think that they're going to be the most courteous of people towards you? I don't think so. Feminist fucking babble all the way down. Shantae, of course. Renee Wilson stars alongside Harrison Ford. I'm sure. In Indy 5, according to the actress, she had requests for changes once she got the script. Fantastic. Who the fuck are you? Speaking to Variety, Wilson revealed once she received the script for the movie, she had some reservations. Like, why the fuck is this being made? But no. The check cleared, and she's going to go to somebody who's actually done some incredible work before. Current company not included. Director James Mangold's credit, Wilson said he was very collaborative and open to listening to any and all suggestions. I was so jazzed, Wilson said. I was quite impressed by a lot of things. But I also had thoughts, and I wanted to make input about my character in particular, who random black lady, and the brilliance and wonder of James Mangold and his ability to collaborate. And he heard me out, and he was very honest about it, and he took what I said, and it was implemented in rewrites. Hey, hey, at least we know that, the script went through at least one revision. Ugh. That has been a wonderful part of the process, to actually be able to feel like you are integral and that you have a point of view when it comes to what's being written. Wilson went on to know one specific scene, her character's exit from the film, which was something she thought, featured things were a little too offensive and a little bit problematic. You get ousted by a Nazi. So I guess her idea was to humanize the Nazi? Okay. Kind of like how some people have assessed the plot of the story, and ultimately, without spoiling it, if you want to go watch this, ultimately, Indy and the crew is trying to save Hitler. It's so fucking borked, man. It doesn't sound good. The word's gotten out. Ain't nobody seeing this shit. It should be a point of inflection for Hollywood. Are they going to be listening? So with all that said, thank you all very much for the gift of your time. I've been Don Consuelo. I want you to follow your gut and get after it. Take care, everyone.